Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Ava, and here are some romances with possessive men in them. Now, I'll preface this and say, I do not approve of possessive men in real life. To a degree. You know what I mean? To a degree. But sometimes these men are like bonkers possessive. You know what? It's a book. Suspend your disbelief, okay? They're fiction. It's not real. But these are great books to read if you're wanting a possessive man in your life. First, I have The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. This one, our hero is literally a dragon, and he even has like two things. He has two things. And the heroine is needing to escape her abusive marriage, so she gets into a binding contract with our hero, and she'll be his wife, I think, for 7 years, I think. At that point, she will be free. But then she ends up falling for him during their marriage and whatnot. But man, this dude is so possessive of her. He's this like monster dragon dude. So one that's of a similar vibe is Wed to the Basilisk by Layla Faye. Our hero is a basilisk creature who is so obsessed with our heroine, very possessive of her. She also gets into this arranged marriage to escape a fiance who is abusive towards her. And the hero, our basilisk guy, right after they get married, actually kills that man on the spot. And the heroine is like so scared because she thinks she got into another abusive relationship. And she's like, can I not learn? And she is scared of our hero, but she doesn't realize like the hero was only protecting her. He is not a violent guy. He was just protecting what is his, and our heroine is his mate. So yeah, they are have a forced proximity relationship in his house where she's like keeping her distance from him because she's scared of him, and he's just groveling and like showing her in little touching ways like how much he cares for her. Another monster one is Held by a Monster. What's up with these women getting kidnapped and abused by men? Anyway, the heroine in this one is also being abused. She gets kidnapped by a group of guys and is hiding in the woods. Like they put her in this cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. She ends up escaping one day and finds this giant monster man who actually saves her life, kills all these men, saves her life, and she is so eternally grateful that this big monster creature saved her life. And turns out they were like experiments in this lab, and that's how him and his two brothers came to be. And I guess there's more books in this series about each of the brothers. Hi, am I talking? Yeah, you sleepy? She just woke up from a nap and she's very sleepy looking. Anyway, this monster hero guy, ever since he saves her life, he becomes so possessive over our heroine and will do anything to keep her safe. I have The Alien Protector's Mate by Melissa Emerald. This one reminds me of Ice Planet Barbarians in a sense, but it takes place on a jungle planet. The women in this series have been illegally abducted from Earth by evil aliens, and their ship crash lands on the planet where all of these sexy alien men are, okay? And they are guys with wings, and they have skin that sparkles when their mate is near, when they find their mate. And the hero in this one ends up finding his mate with one of the women in this group. And there's a language barrier between them. And yeah, it does give IPB vibes, but it's in a jungle instead. He is so possessive of her. He's like, no other guy is gonna touch her. She's not leaving this planet. Like, he wants this woman. Next is Never Fall for a Dragon by Lola Glass. This book series is like our world, but it's also paranormal, where like dragons exist, like dragon shifters exist, other shifters exist. So the heroine is at this coffee shop, and one of the people at the neighboring table is kind of like bickering with each other, this woman and this guy. And she's like, man, this guy is kind of like being rude to this woman. I'm gonna go say something. She doesn't know that they're brother and sister, they're bickering. And she literally, like, I think comes close to the table and is like telling him like, hey dude, like chill out. When he's able to scent her and finds out that that's his fated mate, and he just becomes feral, absolutely feral for her, like picks her up, takes her, and brings her to his house immediately. She's like, what is going on? And it's about them trying to figure out if they want to solidify this mating bond. It's a pretty short book. If you're wanting a like novella length audiobook, I definitely recommend this one. Lola Glass also wrote The Art of Avoiding Your Werewolf, which is kind of a little similar to the dragon one, but with werewolves instead. Each book in this series is about one of these three girlfriends who are half werewolf, half vampire, and they were experimented on to make them this way. And they were told their whole lives, like, oh, if someone from each community were to find them, they would be killed on the spot because they're not supposed to exist. And so when the hero scents her, she's working at a bakery, and he scents her and is like, what are you? She just darts out there. She runs. She like cannot be caught. He ends up catching her anyway and is like, I'm really drawn to you. I don't really care. I don't care what you are, but I think you're my mate. And goes from there. Another short audiobook novella, Lola Glass writes like shorter paranormal romances. Another paranormal one is Fae Touched by Lisa Ray Roman. The heroine in this one is like a coveted magical creature called a Fae half-blood, which means she has like Fae heritage running through her veins. And normally Fae half-bloods, they're like very rare, and they all specifically kind of like have this one magical power, but she has a power that is rare amongst even her community. Like no one else has her power, and so she's very sought after. She's been in hiding for a little while, and she comes out of hiding when she's working at this dress shop, and she ends up saving the life of a vampire queen. And it's her romance with one of that vampire queen's bodyguards, who is a wolf shifter. And yeah, it's her romance, this Fae half-blood, with this werewolf shifter, and they're not really supposed to be together, so they're kind of hiding their relationship also. Now I have like 3 kind of contemporary-esque books, more leaning towards the darker side. This is Lessons in Sin by Ham Godwin. Our heroine goes to this all-Catholic boarding school for girls, and she ends up falling for her headmaster, who is a priest, who is our hero. It's age gap, it's taboo, it's forbidden, but once they get together, he's like, no one is touching you. Because there's apparently a guy at like a sister school who is at the all-boys Catholic school who is like into our heroine, and he's like, no. He goes absolutely feral when he realizes like this guy is wanting her. He's like, not gonna happen. No. But he has to like keep the fact that they're together a secret because it's forbidden. I have a mafia romance. This is Run Posey Run by Kate C. Wells. At first, the hero isn't very possessive of our heroine, but then he gets that way. This book starts out with these two already in a relationship. Our hero invites the heroine into his office one day and is like, hey, watch this video with me. And it's a tape of her doing it with a different guy. And he fully believes like that is real time, like that happened, that she cheated on him, and she keeps telling him like, dude, no, look at me, my hair is a different color, like that is of a different time. That was like years ago. But he doesn't believe her, and he's like, get out of my sight. I never want to see you again. But then a little while later, he takes a deeper look into the video like he should have, and he realized someone was playing him. That video was from years ago. So he's going to go track down Posey, who he told to run. Like she's been in hiding for months because she thinks that this guy will murder her if he ever finds her. But man, once he realizes like, oh, he messed up, he is so possessive of her, gonna track her down. Like that woman is his. And lastly, I have Mistletoe Mobster by Cassie Mint. This is kind of like a holiday Christmas romance, but you can read this any time of year, honestly. Essentially, the heroine runs this bookstore, and she's closing up for the night when a man is knocking on the door and is like, let me in, and he's bleeding out. Turns out he's from the mafia, and he just got into a fight, and he was almost murdered, and she ends up stitching up his wounds, saving him. After that night, she doesn't expect to ever see him again. What she doesn't expect is that this guy has been stalking her ever since that night, and is gonna make sure no other mafia guy is gonna be coming into that bookstore. Like he's like on the roofs of neighboring establishments, he's gonna murder some people if they come within like 10 feet of his woman's place. Anyway, so you have it. Those are 10 romances with possessive men in them. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me let's do the like hand heart emoji down below. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.